Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to talk for a couple of minutes about the midah of shtika, which means being quiet, which I feel like nowadays people have a very hard time with. We all have lots of opinions. And the truth is that these parshiot that we're reading now talk about Yitzchak, and his midah was the midah of gvura, which is the midah of discipline, of holding back. And it's funny because if you think about the avot and you think about who is strong, you definitely wouldn't think Yitzchak. You know, he's the one that was sort of schlepped along to the Akedah. He's the one that the Plishtim were stuffing up his wells, and he just kind of sat back and let it happen. So you wouldn't necessarily think that he was the paradox or the paradigm, sorry, of Gvura. But in essence, that's what Gvura is. Gvura is the ability to make the choice to hold back. And one of the most important lessons that we learned from the Akedah is it says Vayelchu shneim yachdav. Like at some point, Abraham and Yitzchak went together, and it means that the midah of Abraham and the midah of Yitzchak, the midah of Abraham being chesed and the midah of Yitzchak being gevura, sort of harmonized together and created a balance, which is really what we're striving for. And a good example of this would be when we think about rain. So if we were going to send rain down with pure compassion, so the rain would sort of, you take this amount of rain and spread it across the whole world, and it would rain everywhere evenly. But if that be the case, then the rain would just be sort of a mist. But if you really want the rain to be effective, it has to be stronger, and so you have to, make it more concise and more focused. And so you're taking this amount of rain and you're deciding to only have it fall in one place. And that way it can penetrate the earth and actually have power. And this is also true with words. So, when somebody speaks all the time, we have a lot of words, we say things all the time, they're less effective. But, we all know like that teacher or that parent that didn't say, a lot, but when they did say something, that makes you stand up and pay attention. And so Yitzchak, we find is a man of a few words. There are not that many interactions that we see with Yitzchak. But at the same time, we see, especially in this week's Parsha, his two sons are fighting over the brachot. They're fighting over his words. And if we think about what speech is in general, speech is really taking like these limitless thoughts and potential, and we're concretizing them into words. And when we concretize them into words, we're actually limiting them. And so we have to be thoughtful about that. We have to think about, sometimes whether we want to actually take these thoughts that we have and bring them into the world. Sometimes thoughts, it's better that they sort of stay in our minds. We have to really think about that. And so I remember hearing a shiur from Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson. He spoke about when Aaron lost his two sons. So Moshe tried consoling him, and the pasuk says Vayidom Aaron, very famously, right, that Aaron was silent. And what's interesting is Rashi points out that as a schar, right, as a reward for this silence, so Hashem told him specifically, directly, instead of going through Moshe, which is what he usually did, he told him a specific parsha in the Torah, just to him directly. And it made me think about the fact that, sometimes, when we're always talking and it creates a lot of static, it creates a lot of noise. And it made sense to me in this context that the schar for Aaron's silence was the fact that he was able to hear from Hashem directly, and that sometimes, when we shut out the noise and we stop talking, we're able to hear Hashem actually directly communicating with us. And his silence also showed that he understood that there really are no answers, and there really are no solutions to a devastating situation as the one that he was experiencing. And instead of trying to make sense of the situation, we need to maybe stop and think, what is it that Hashem wants us to do at this point? What are we supposed to gain from the situation, instead of trying to figure out why it happened? And silence really acknowledges that our finite brains can't really wrap our heads around God and the infinite. And wisdom really grasps that which is, something that we can, know. Okay, it's very limited, but silence touches on something that really is very unknowable, that which is really larger than what I contain in my own human brain. And I've just been thinking a lot about this, since what we've experienced, over a little over a month ago. And I don't know about anybody else, but I know for myself, like sometimes people will say, "How are you doing?" Or, you're talking to someone, having a conversation, and I just find myself saying, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't have the words. I don't know how to take my thoughts and actually express them. And I think all of us are struggling to find the words to say, to make sense of everything that's going on. But I think honestly that we're really better off accepting that there really are no words, and that's okay. And I think on some level, instead of trying to fill the space with empty words, we should really try to, as I said before, think about the rain, and we want to make our words impactful, just like we want to make the rain impactful. And that means maybe, focusing them and concretizing them in the avenue of tefillah and of Torah. And otherwise our words are just like a mist. They don't really have much power. But we want to turn our words into a downpour of strength, so that we can really make a difference. Thank you.
Yeshikoach. Thank you very much. Okay, same time, same place tomorrow, everybody. Hope to see you there. Bye.